Or I think losing Paid in that fight means I won't get his goodies for free later, which kind of sucks. I was hoping to get his outfit, but... Alright. So far, so good. Nothing a selfie with the bosses before he kills them, exactly. Alright, so, talking to... going resting at the bonfire after you beat the last giant, we'll send a Malentia to Bajula. So before we do that...
Yeah, I do. I am looking forward to playing Revelations 2 at some point.
I can buy that later. Yeah, I want to have enough souls to level up with when I get back. So now I need to get enough strength to two-hand and use a Morning Star.
Man, now I'm trying to imagine Leon's dialogue being updated for that. Sadler got wrecked, so forth and so on. I don't know. Maybe we should leave it as it is.
So I will need 2 more points of strength. I should have enough to get that.
Is that here to see?
Barry Burton using the power of hip-hop to fight zombies. No, clearly what we really need is a 18-year-old, super-powered guy to run around and do all of the awesome things. Be edgy and anti-establishment and things like that.
I remember what I used on my quote-unquote practice run to beat the... Oh, I remember, yeah. In a bad series like Resident Evil Just Die. Oh, Bex, it's not that bad. But we'll always have RE4,
You, the name, and you, the man.
Deal with it, Salazar. See, the sad thing is that I'm imagining now if you want emo Chris. But yeah, now I'm imagining that the poor Capcom people would try to do all of the memes and such of the era when they make it, and then by the time development is done, it'll be completely different, and they'll be talking about that's it. They'll be introducing monsters like the Bad News Bear, and then everybody just points and laughs at them.
Right. I like that.
The thing I will say, Pyrie, is that creating new properties, especially intellectual properties, is so risky, especially in the modern era. I can actually understand why every major company would want to, keep any series that is making money alive. I remember there was an article about this a while back that I had read, and then there was a book about it that I have on my to-read list, but I haven't gotten it yet. But basically the idea is that you have to have a reliable source of income, like a Resident Evil, like a Devil May Cry, like all of these other things, in order to take the risk of games that you try and then fail and don't do well in. Because I'm thinking, too, there are things like Blizzard is trying an FPS game, and that's actually tremendously risky. I'm willing to bet it's going to blow up in their face. And if they do that, they're going to be very, very, very glad that they still have, a couple of Warcraft things, World of Warcraft and things like that, they can still rely on to make them through, to get them through. Dark Void. Ugh. Yeah, they did not set the world on fire with that. That's the thing, like, even if you're talking about just minor changes from the formula, and I'm kind of... This may sound a little bit like I'm speaking against our own demographic, and I am by no means doing so. But we gamers tend to be a fairly finicky lot, especially speaking in aggregate. So, any game is a gamble. And then when you have something that's basically sight unseen, that can be pretty rough.
The reason I'm doing this is to see if it will work to use the Seed of a Tree of Giants to get the enemies here to kill Dennis. But I have to make sure they don't kill me first, and they're going to.
And down.
Mm.
Well, here was, who makes a police station with all these puzzles and art?
Gamers are a superstitious and cowardly lot. But yeah, that's the whole reason I went that way, was to try that out. So let's put that in my quick bar. This Dennis should keep showing up until... Yeah, there we go. So my plan is to use it here as soon as I see him.
And that is true, Pyrie. If stripped of their franchise names, most of these games are pretty mediocre. Some of them tend to be alright, but if you had a game that... Like, if you had over-the-shoulder zombie shooter, it would not do nearly as well as a Resident Evil 4, for example, even though it actually was, in and of itself, a pretty solid game. And that's the power of franchising and marketing and things like that. And you really lose that when you try to do something new. Obviously, if you have a big marketing guy like an Inafune or whatnot, then you can kind of get away with that and have some of the goodwill built in. Yeah, it's just
it's working. Yeah, there we go.
There you are.
Screw you, Dennis. Dennis the Menace. Yeah.
Evil Within was extremely mediocre. Yeah. And yet, it did a lot better than a lot of people thought it would. Or, not that they thought it would, than it honestly deserved. Simply because, hey, it's the Resident Evil guy doing it.
Right. Oh, they had Mikami's name over, like, everything they could.
Right.
Right. Interesting. I didn't realize they could blow up that part of the wall. Alright, but yep, that will take care of that. Alright, so we've got the Pursuer up next. Let's do Majula, grab a small shield I can use to parry the Pursuer with, and go kill the Ornstein and the Dragonrider. Just Twinklies now. Let's see, I need a dex of 11. My dex is currently 9, I believe. Yeah, so I need 2 more strength, 1 more dex. We're never going to use the giant great axe, or I think it is a great axe that the last giant soul gets you. You'd think it would be a great club based on his arm, and that would have been amazing.
Right.
But
alas.
You want... Then we'll start doing endurance. Yeah, exactly, Pyrie. It's like, yeah, the AAA games and the studios are just so big that you can't really... Your options are just really limited. The stuff that's lighter and better for the most part, so we're going to switch.
I will say that is true in part, and obviously you tend to get, at least to a certain extent, more innovative games with smaller studios and whatnot. But I would also point out that it's actually, sometimes the bigger companies that tend to add in new mechanics, new things, simply because when you have teams that large, you basically free up more manpower and brainpower to actually do some of the new things. Obviously, in the modern era, that's not quite as common because they're still focusing on AAA titles and things like that.
Right.
But especially in the past, that's why you had things like Microprose being one of the big innovators. So they had a pretty decent team to them.
And even then, part of the deal with Microprose is a lot of their better games were done by the Simtex people.
Right.
It was their in-home studio.
Right.
Yeah, I heard of that one, Ghost Dad, Shadows
of the
but
Damned. I've never heard of it.
But yeah, I've never played it, or I don't think I've seen anything of it even.
Oh, let me look it up while I think about it.
And my plan for this area is to kill a couple of the old knights, and to get up ahead to where, what's his name, Masterless Glencour is, and then have him get me through Old Dragon Slayer, and then Well, that was quite a odd hit.
Oh, it's Suda 51. That explains some things.
Ah. It means I'll have to turn human again. Yeah, we'll see if I make it there. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of that was my other thought too. Where, like Pyre points out, it's like, yeah, the big is relative. Back in Microprose's day, a big team is about 20 people.
Well, the point that I'm raising is that, that is true as far as that goes. But part of the reason
Thanks,
that they
dude.
could do more than some of the other competitors was because they had more people to work with.
Right.
Again, you kind of see that with, like I'm thinking too, of the Mortal Kombat 10, where they've actually innovated quite a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And a fair deal of that is because, unlike some of the other, smaller studios, they actually could just, redesign pretty much everything from the ground up, which is pretty neat.
Yeah, MK10. It kind of strikes me as like the anti Street Fighter V. It's like, or the anti Capcom even, because it's like whereas they keep re-releasing Street Fighter games just like it's still Street Fighter 2 again. There's been one MK10 and they just keep making like changes and stuff to it.
Right. LP Shadows look kind of mediocre like Evil Within. Huh. I'll have to take a look at it. But obviously I could think of more examples if I wasn't quite as run ragged as I was.
Right.
But I think honestly a much bigger problem is that a lot more charm is also objective.
After
yeah.
I used... They wouldn't have aggroed the guy in old school Dark Souls 2.
Yeah, I am putting on my business major hat for a second. I think a lot more of it is just the fact that I think a lot of the the upper tier managers and executives in the video game market just aren't quite sure what to do in terms of creating new content and things like that, and they are becoming much more risk averse. As a fact that you look at the market now, and some of the big guys have just left entirely. Some of them are on the ropes, and a lot more of them are just getting absorbed into the evil empire.
Right.
So there's that. It's kind of in the product life cycle now, where they've hit the maturation point. They kind of know what works, and so they're going to keep going with that until it seems clear that they're going to have to run a couple of risks. More likely, what I'm kind of imagining happening is that you're going to get kind of two different markets going on. You're going to have the indie innovative people that rely on things like Indiegogo and Greenlight and things like that, that come up with new ideas, new intellectual properties, things like that, that people actually get invested in. Then eventually some of the big guys will step in and say, how big of a check do you want for this? And you see that in some of the other creative spheres too. It's just that up until now, video games have been a small enough market that they could just get around that. But yeah, I think things are just going to become a bit more codified from here on in. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, I would point out. And yeah, Ghost Dad, exactly. Some of the bigger indie developers are filling the niche for B-level games.
That went a lot worse than it did in my test run. Oh, Glencore, dude. I'm just waiting to see him get flung off the thing.
He's almost there. There he goes.
Oh, come on. It's bad. It's all bad.
Well, hopefully he wasn't going to drop anything.
Well, I'll come back for... I don't think I'm missing anything important by getting him now, so... Maybe I'll make up for it by actually beating Dragonrider, the quick way, instead of... Because I managed to screw this up last time. Nope, he's not going... seriously, yeah, like I normally get that to work like a charm. It just isn't. It just isn't. That's only way to end that sentence. It just isn't.
Exactly this time. What is Activision going to do when Call of Duty stops being profitable? Because it's going to happen. There's only so many times you can release basically the same thing before finally people lose interest.
Right. Oh, that screwed that one up. Alright, back to the center with you.
Oh, that game. Yeah, I remember looking at Shadows of the Damned in in GameStop, and kind of thinking it would sound interesting, and then I looked at the reviews like, oh no, not so much. Which is kind of a shame because it looked pretty neat, but
right.
Are you from the? My name. I can. But the.
Okay.
Why did I do my?
Let's move Alicia to Majula.
Without to a sorry. Without to a sorry.
Okay.
No need for me.
Such soul scrimpers. Yeah, we'll just have to come back for Dragon Slayer later. Which I'm still human. Yeah, I guess I'll go to Majula, level up, because there should be an NPC sign that I can use to help out, even though I can't get Glencore again. So let's because I really do want the big thing isn't so much him, but I really want the let's see, what do I want here? Let's go endurance. And just strength pretty much the rest of the way. Yeah, it's not so much him. It's the fact that the red dragon outside his boss door, or the way to get to him, drops the Watch Dragon Parma, which is a shield that has a decent fire resistance, good stability, and increases your item discovery. So yeah, I definitely want that bad boy. And there's another Estus shard down here. Now I have successfully parried the skeleton here the last 3 or 4 times in a row, so that means I'm going to screw it up now that I'm streaming.
Almost
certainly. This is where Kale goes, when you're done with the forest.
Right.
Oh, there we go.
Well.
Guarantee drop of human effigy. Can't go wrong with that. Yeah, I wonder if what was throwing me off there was switching from a medium shield to a small shield. The small shields are way better at carrying the word than in Dark Souls 1. And the target shields and stuff like that are better still. Which, there was a buckler over where I got mobbed by goons before climbing up the ladder to the second bonfire in the forest, but didn't have time to get that. There's a target shield in the chest in the Ruined Sentinel fight. Speaking of, I'm not speaking of the Ruined Sentinels, but I'm going to want to buy a couple of these.
I'll be right.
Must say too, speaking of indie games, that I am definitely looking forward to Salt and Sanctuary. That's still on my list and should definitely be fun.
Right.
Whenever it finally comes out. Also looking forward to getting back to Darkest Dungeon now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Now that we have confirmed that our glorious 3,000 odd kilobytes a second can actually maintain it.
Right. Do we get a fragrant branch in there? No. And I also forgot to turn that shard into My thought here is to take a quick look. Right, the Hate Knight.
Oh yeah, he's active now.
Ah, cool. The Glencore sign is still here. Ah, enemies are going to be right on me.
There you go.
That sign faded when you killed the Dragonrider in the original game.
Well, it's not like he would know the difference anymore. Yeah, I do have to say, as an aside, I know that it's been only about a week since the last time that we had a serious stream, but it's felt like a lot longer.
Yeah,
Like-
seriously. We miss you guys.
Yeah, that's basically what it boils down to. It's like you get used to, meeting with friends, talking about games and things like that while you play it. Then you go without for a week, and it's like, wow, this is really weird.
And Glencore, can we not aggro them? No. Okay, we must aggro them apparently. I don't think he's going to survive to the dragon at this rate. Now he does have an Estus, a flask he can sip. Kind of funny is that Glencore is really bad at handling the old knights. You would think that he would be pretty ideal against them, but not so much.
Huh.
Hailstones. Those are the ones that strip infusions from.
Oh, what's that summon sign?
That's a normal person, I think.
Huh.
There's an NPC here, Devotee Scarlet, that I want to get. Arrgh. Just could not get the poise through, even though I have a bludgeon and the stone ring. I have a cudgel. I'll give this one more try. I don't want to waste too much time, in areas that we're not really making progress in. And the goal is to really just get through as quickly as possible. Part of the problem is that in Scholar, the enemies will aggro and follow you so far that you can't really just run all the way to the fog gate and count on your friends to follow you. That just won't work. Okay, he heard that. So far so good. Alright, with him. So Glencore is now tangled up fighting somebody. Yeah, but my plan was to... I thought there was another NPC around here. Maybe our sign doesn't appear if you've already got one. Glencore is getting torn up there. Okay, we're done with this part for now. Yeah, what I did the first time, and it just ticks me off it didn't work this time because he ran up and aggroed that Hate Knight and got knocked off, was that you kill about half the enemies on your way up, and then you take him and kill the rest of them, get up to old Dragonrider, kill him, with Glencore's help. With the stage pretty much empty at that point, you run back and do the falling strats for Dragonrider, which will basically kill him pretty much instantly. And even if it doesn't work, he's still a easy boss. Lorax should have shot the chains to drop it into the drop the dragon flamethrower. Yep, if only. So that means we'll just have to go without the Watch Dragon, the Parma, for a while. I was thinking about having Ashley be more dex-based, but I think it'll be kind of fun to have. Well, if we're going to be going with heavy armor, like Ben was thinking, we probably will have her using light weapons. And one of my gripes about the Dark Souls series is that since strength doesn't factor into equip load at all. You end up with this situation where if you want to have heavy armor and big weapons, you have to pump your vitality to a crazy amount. Because yeah, otherwise it'll just weigh you down too much. There is the Elite Knight set is probably the closest one, and Mouflin will start selling that once you I think once you buy 1,000 souls worth of armor from him. So we'll probably do that as soon as we're done here. This is just unlocking the way to, or getting that bone dust and unlocking the way to the No Man's Wharf later. Probably now that I have a good shield, probably go take care of the Pursuer and start Lost Bastille next. Let's see, what weapon do I want to use on the Ruined Sentinels? Because that'll be the tricky one.
I must admit, anytime that anyone says Ruined Sentinels, I just kind of cringe a little bit.
Right.
Well, you've gotten pretty good at them, at least as far as I had seen.
Yeah, I took care of no problem last time.
I built them up so that when you get completely demolished this time...
I didn't mean to use the life count. Yeah, I love the hollows running at you with their bare hands, trying to grapple you. I thought those are the ones with the most HP. We need a Fragrant Branch to get him. There is the regular Knight set, and an Estus Shard is over there, but we don't have a Fragrant Branch. I'm trying to think of where we got our first one going this route.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because I got one fairly early, I thought, last time, but... Okay, anyway, so, Pursuer. You can talk me to get a drink, too. This would be faster at this point. With a shortcut open. It doesn't really matter what weapon we're going to be using, because we're going to be taking the Pursuer out with the Ballista. Because I didn't get the... Because I didn't get the Watch Dragon Parma.
There you go.
I'm going to get the leather shield instead, because it's pretty good.
Ghosthead wants to German suplex a dragon.
Oh, I wish we could. There is a weapon in the DLC. I think it's called like the Dragon Bone Fist or something like that, and it has a drop kick and a couple other moves like Hadouken and stuff. So there's some silliness you can get up to, but unfortunately no wrestling moves in Dark Souls.
Which is sad because I was thinking, who was it? Was it Orton that did those whole Suplex Town thing?
Oh, Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar, that was it.
Suplex City.
Yep, Suplex City. Take a dragon to Suplex City.
Okay. Pipe Pursuer. This should be about right.
Still think that's a pretty cool intro sequence for him.
Yeah. Oh, for crying out loud. Why is nothing working?
I admit, I was expecting you to ask that and then have that be what knocked you into the drink.
Excuse you.
It's okay, you don't need it.
Yeah.
Broop Stream Curse! Yes.
Pursuer can bleed, so I might just even get that to trigger since I'm using a Morningstar here.
got this.
I got this, yeah.
Good night, Phoenix.
Yeah, good night, man.
I do admit that part of me kind of wishes that this Pursuer, at least, would actually, like, grab some of the weapons from his back and use them.
Yeah, it's really disappointing, the fact that the Pursuer never does, and that's the big thing you notice in his intro.
Right. Ah, well. There you are. See, you didn't need the ballista.
I didn't either. Yeah, that's true. It's like, while all of my cleverly laid plans are failing left and right, at least I haven't actually suffered too much for it yet.
Right. Yet. But really, isn't it us who would be suffering most?
Well, didn't really need the Dragonrider stuff, but at this point, why not? And that up there is the way to the regular halberd, the non-old Nightvert.
Wait, no, go back. What? Why is there a barrel floating in the air?
Oh, hey guys.
You thought they had forgotten about you. Nope.
Enemies never forget about you in Scholar. Okay. Yeah, we can use the Dragonrider sword later if you guys want to see a dex-based greatsword, but it's probably the best one in that family. Otherwise, the Dragonrider armor is pretty solid too. It doesn't look too over-encumbering, but still has a really good defense bonus. And the Pursuer's bird, I guess, mistakes us for a giant, heavily armored man covered in weapons, and will fly us to Lost Bastille. Hey, P-Bug.
Hey, P-Bug.
Join us in glorious 60 FPS, 3000 bitsville.
With not a single dropped frame yet.
Not a one. And OBS has even stopped us squawking about and high encoding errors. And I am feeling like a bad enough dude, and in order to save time, let's go kill the next Pursuer now. Am I a bad enough dude to kill another Pursuer? Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's kind of funny. We ended up having a... Oh! He just ran and blew himself up. I saw him swing at that barrel. Huh. But yeah, what ended up happening was it took them like 3 days after we made the upgrade to Mediacom to upgrade our bandwidth package, and then only now it's like 3 days, I think 2 or 3 days later, and after we already make plans to switch ISPs, did they finally bother to get it working. So I think it's just a case of too little, too late.
Right. Now, granted, if the other guys don't actually offer a better deal, then we'll stick with what we've got.
Right.
But,
That could be bad. I screwed that one up. Leave it to me after completely thrashing the regular Pursuer to get chumped by his little brother. Little brothers are tough, I know, but
yeah, pretty much.
well, now I have to go get my souls back. And once again, yes, I did this. Oh well, and this may actually be better. Completely forgot about that last time. But yeah, last time I had absolutely no problems. Excuse you. Oh, I can't plunge because he's like there in the way.
Right. You're pretty much standing on him.
Arg. Now I can't knock the barrel down.
You don't have any more.
I have fire bombs. Yeah. I have one firebomb. I have firebomb singular.
There you go.
All right. Okay, let's grab our souls and actually get the pursuer right this time. Okay, the pursuer right this time. There we go. Maybe I can even open up with a cool little parry. Yeah, there we are. I think I can get back in the groove now. Okay. One thing I found out is that it is possible for him to scoop you right out of a roll with the blue sword thing. So you got to be really careful on the timing of it. And yeah, that's the one exception to the rule of never backing away from an enemy when you roll, when there's basically nowhere to go. Alright, see, that wasn't too bad. This one should have happened the first time. Okay. So, let us... Could have tempting fate here with how, I don't need to do that. How sloppy I've been doing here, but I think I can pull it off. We're going to go talk to Lucy. Interesting, it looks like with a cudgel plus the stone ring means I guarantee a stagger on these guys. Normally they have a fair bit of poise. That's pretty cool. Hey, Lucy.
What is it? I don't things.
They move the antiquated key here instead of. Where was it originally? I think it was in the part after the after No Man's Wharf. Because yeah, the idea was in the original game you pretty much had to come to Lost Bastille from both entrances in order to like explore the whole area. Yeah, with this one with the antiquated key here and the ability to drop down from the upper route and to see if we can. There we go. I had a feeling, because the arc of his swing is just so big that he tends to he'll tend to hit something. Now, this jerk up here, well, even if you aggro him from a distance, we'll go ahead and kick that barrel down. We're just going to run up in front of him. And mischief managed.
Hooray.
Freaking dogs. Oh, what? What?
Huh. That's weird.
He's like, I think he's stuck inside the corner or something.
Yeah, it kind of looks that
Yeah.
way. There he goes.
There we go. Weird.
Did he drop some?
No. Those are just the souls flying to me. That being said, I'll take a quick look for you. There we are.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it said something like pick up or something, but probably not.
Oh, actually that's probably open door. That's a door you can open with the Bastille key. Yeah, just light Macduff's fire, and he will move over there. And we can get the Craftsman's Hammer. So at this point, now that we've gotten some Titanite, we should probably decide what weapon we're going to be using for a while. Because I hate using maces and clubs and stuff in these games. It's like it's effective, but it's a little too one-dimensional for me. So we have enough souls to get some levels. We have a soul vessel if that's not enough, and we have this guy here selling stuff. So last time I bought a great axe from him. It ended up being a big mistake because the moveset isn't great, and the scaling is bad too on the regular great axe. So yeah, so if your stats are low, you want the Girm great axe, and because it what do we have here? You want the Girm great axe because it has a higher base damage, and if your strength is higher, you want the Bandit Great Axe maybe? I'm not sure, but regardless, this is not it.
Right.
So we can do scythe, we can do katana, we can just stick with the bastard sword we already have. What do you all want to see? What are we going to use? Yeah, we have the stuff we can buy. Plus, I could get my strength also to 25, and use this bad boy if you want to do that. Raise my dex and use. Well, I would need the bracing knuckle ring before we could commit to that. Practical potato. Hey, stats can be anything. We are very early in the game. Right now, I've put enough into strength to use our Morningstar one-handed, but other than that, the sky's the limit. I haven't really done too much else yet. And we still have the Soul Vessel from Majula's manor too, if need be. What do you think, Ben? If you, I can give you a vote.
Huh. I'm
Always use the whip.
I'm thinking neither of us have really done a strength-based thing, I don't think. So I think we could do that, and you could kind of aim for doing the Demon Great Axe.
The Demon Great Hammer.
Great Hammer, sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Ooh, that's really heavy, huh? So we would need some vitality to do that.
Right.
Yeah, we could get our strength to 25 pretty easily. Yeah,
So I do like the idea of, Shrimpy Ashley Graham having these, gigantic hammers and things like that.
Sounds good. Okay, while...
Although, to be fair, if you wanted to be truer to the theme, then we could use a scythe.
That's true.